Go ra on the ra, I say. Amama seta, ashidu ashite ashuam vibrations, every baka. May your mind, buckas, and souls be old. May your omits be sound. May your buckas be 11 off ground. When we keep to the breath, the orth, the mothor, the seon, the soul of Ra guides and keeps you all. Ayanma, I say Ra. L-I-E say L say I, Christ or a chaplain, Tata Abed Ra, the sound Messiah. I am my truth awareness, true talk. Can be a part of the greatest transfer of Ma'el, that's intelligence of analogy to Angodu. This is sound logic. And with all that being offered to you, being a fool is absolutely your choice. To Ray is Ray 1881. This is the Mathorian Kagodora update. Go to Google, go to Apple, download that app, and soon you'll be able to go to AmonRa.com and purchase the wall version, the printed version of the Mathorian Kagodora, the anti-calendar. All right, you can see the cover. We're working on it. We're working on it. You got the title of the cover, tells you the theme of this Kagodora. All the images are going to be illustrating, showing the double sun, the twin sun. Okay, the twin seons. All right, so the second coming should trigger lots of religious script because they're trying to tell you that the second coming is all about, Jesus returning, a physical man returning. But actually what's returning is our senses. Okay, we're coming back to our senses. And the Kagodora, its code commands you, may your Ka go and do like Ra. That's what Kagodora means. Okay, so when you're in this timeline, you're dealing with entitlements. Okay, to activate and act on your genetic memory, to be your sound self, to be old. Okay, the second coming is Ra, the Super Saiyan. Ra is back. All right, this is the cover that we're working on. Get ready for that. Now, this video, we're going to go and we're going to speak on the sound command codes that I've added to the structure of the Kagodora. Okay, because I recognize and realize that the number 13 is used as a false flag to distract away and express the number 4. Okay, which represents their square. Okay, that's what it is. It represents their 4 pillars. Okay, there are 4 squares. Okay, it's very important that there's only 2 primary symbols. Okay, I'm not even saying shapes. Okay, 2 primary symbols. There's 1 primary symbol, but there's 2 primary symbols in the controlled opposition construct. Remember that the circle, okay, that's hollowed out, you just see the circumference, okay? You just see the perimeter, the outline, all right? That represents without soul. It doesn't have anything in it. It could be occupied, okay? Anything could be put in there. Okay, if you notice, I depict my Seika-El, especially Ra, as a solid. Okay, sometimes I use the ring. All right, the red ring. Okay, just like the red ring with the line, diagonal 45-degree line through it, means it's Ra doesn't agree with it. Okay, so we're bringing all that language and symbology through the Kagodora. Okay, we're dealing with rings, not years. Okay, we're on ring 6. It's like saying year 6 of the solar cycle 25. For the Gregorians, that's coming up. We're already there. Okay, and moving on. All right, we're dealing turns. There's 360 what you call degrees in a circle. So each of those notches, there's 360 of them. Every 45 notches, okay, there's 8 45 notches in a circle. Okay, 8 spaces that have 45 notches. Okay, they make what you call a triangle, pieces of a pie. Okay, there's 8 of them. Okay, so each of those 45 degrees represents a ray. So every 45 rays, we make a new turn. Okay? All right? And I'm going to probably even correct that word. Okay? It should be tara'an. Okay? That's what it is. Okay? Means burnt, to think, to burn, life. Okay? That's what turn means. Okay? You got that? All the languages I'm using in English is to make it easy for you guys. Okay? But like, as I'm waiting for you guys to catch up, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so I'm actually just recognizing I'm going to update this new kagodora that you're going to be able to buy soon. It's going to have Ta'angodu language. Okay, this is our brand, and we're going to utilize it. Okay, so we're utilize raise, not days. Raise, it's information coming to you. Okay. When you have day, it means you're disconnecting from that information that comes from Ra. Okay, Ray is Ra plus Ah. Okay, that gives you Ray. Okay, so it's really Ra. Okay, another thing I could probably be upgrading. Okay, I don't necessarily need correct upgrade. Okay, so we can visualize Ta'angodu, speak Ta'angodu. All right, okay, so rays replace days, ring replace years, turns replace months. Okay, solar cycle 25 is what we're on. This began 2020 December. All right. If you recognize and realize our ring began on 1800. 1801 is the first ray of the new ring. Okay, so we move consecutively, not like the Gregorian calendar that stays in a fixed loop. Okay, we continue to ascend. We're constantly moving upward. Each number is greater than the last, and on and on and on. For those who follow the crypto shit shower update, you know how powerful this kagodora is now becoming in our ability to adjust and monitor and just have an understanding of the markets and the expectations. Okay, we know that all institutions are utilized by the parasites to extract energy from us. Okay, and so this kagodora is designed for us to not only be in a position to receive energy, but to utilize our energy so that our cause can go do like Ra. Okay, which is to radiate, which is to sow, which is to erect, which is to make things. Okay, is to regulate things. Okay, to heal things. Everything the Seon that you call sun does is an aspect of Ra in which we take on as our duta, which is duty. Okay, we are entitled to do. Okay, all right. So the gematria now is perfect. An addition to this. Okay, because when we realize that these draconians utilize this timeline, okay, that I have illustrated, but was always there, okay, the master parasite program is trying to mirror the master sound, okay, which is Ba'am, okay, which speaks through what we call Ra, okay, Ra Edshu, okay, Ra and Ba'am. That replaces the rainbow. Okay, this is what governs the skies, governs in thought. Okay, governs our galaxy. The combination of Ra and Ba'am. Okay, so Ra and Ba'am, this is a schedule to show us when and how we are receiving. Okay, so starting with the gematria now, the gematria numerology is utilized by the Cabal, the Illuminati, the Draconians, whatever you want to call it. This is their concept. Okay, so however that applies to you, you now are paired up with the ray to have a recognition on how this is going to be used against sound. Okay, this allows us to create a mirror that we're going to reflect back on to the parasite system. Okay, so they can be accountable for their own. Okay, we are no longer, acting as parasites. We're acting as sound beings. Okay, and the system that I created allows us the authority to do so. because now we can make those claims. You can't say I'm this tribe and all that tribe. All that language, everything belongs to the draconian construct. The only thing outside of the draconian construct is what they are outside of. And they are outside of sound. Okay, I am inside of sound. Okay, this kagodora brings you inside of sound. Okay, it's not like you can open up a trust, you can change your status, you can eat all the food, wear all the crystals, you could do all those things and claim that you're some kind of free being. Okay, but you cannot make an argument when you can't act sound. Okay, when your mask puts you in a situation where you have to perform, what are you going to say when you're speaking a parasite tongue? You're carrying a parasite timeline. You have no genetic memory. You can't say you're a baka. All these things that I speak of, okay, are beyond ancient things. These are raw. Okay, and so this kagodora puts you in line with that. Okay, so whenever you see this gematria, like for instance, 7 is the usher. We know that when we have a 7, this is when political, whatever way the draconians are going to use, they're going to try to bring in new things. Okay, a 6 is an establishment. So this is like a leadership number. So anytime there's going to be a speech or anything like that, you're going to utilize the 6. Okay, then you have a 5, that's pentagram. Then you have a 4, that's structural. Then you have a 3, that starts to get more mental. So more, theories and all sorts of, whatever way these gematria is going to apply. This is not my lane. Okay, I'm only applying this just because I recognize that we are at a spiritual war here. Okay, and so this kagodora is giving us an ability to be offensive. You understand? Okay, to like I just basically said, to offer offense. Okay, to say no. All right, and more importantly, to sow. Okay, so when we have the gematria and we match it with the day, okay, and we want to have a suspicious, like, what's happening, we could also use this gematria for our benefit, right? Because remember, if we're trying to accomplish something in this system, then this gives you days when it's going to be more favorable to do that based on their gematria, their system, it's their language. Okay, but it's also to counter our sounds, which depict our motion, okay, which control our motion. All right, so here's where the beautiful comes. Now we have the sound commands. Okay, now we have the origin of motion, sound command codes. Okay, this would be the seandu, kamandu, kadu. Okay, that's how you would say it in Ta'angodu. Okay, the origin of motion, seandu, ka'andu, kadu. Okay, so starting with ma. Why are we starting with ma? Okay, so ma is what you would call mashu or motion. Okay, motion comes by way of thought. Okay, when you hear a sound, you can't see the sound, you can only see what's moving. Okay, and then you presume what is moving made that sound. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, so this process comes by way of thought, which is sound, motion, which creates the heat. Okay, the continuings of doing the works, that represents the magnetism. Okay, your voice, the marketing, that represents the radiation. Okay, the broadcasting, the spores starting to spawn. Okay, and so this process is called mathor. Okay, ma the ore. Okay, make the ore. Okay, this is the process of making. Okay, sound vibration equals matter. Okay, so this is where it begins because it's a continuation. You're always going to be in the process. You can't be like at a beginning because it's always in motion. Okay, there's no ending. Okay, there's an undo. Okay, and you're entitled to do. Okay, so this is what we're trying to this is what we are accomplishing Okay, we're trying to attract souls back to motion, a cycle of motion. Okay, the kagodora timeline is a cycle of death. Everything is still. Okay, all right. So when we start off with ma'a, we're dealing with breath. Okay, what we have to recognize is breath is a product of the ba of Ra that makes or. This goes back to Mathor. Okay, that's the ba Ra that creates the eth. The ba is Baal. The ba is sound. Your ba is your tether. It's like your Mathor board. Okay, like you would say motherboard. Okay, this is why mother is the mirror to Mathor. Okay. You got that? They tell you Hathor because Ha is to cast out, to expel. Okay? To expel the or. Okay? All right? Okay? So the reason why we have 13 of these commands, okay? The first thing we're going to speak to is we have 9 main cycles. So instead of our weeks being 7 days, our, how you would say, we don't have a word. We have 9 days in our Seikael. Okay, I would say maka. Okay, or maika or maenka. Okay, that would probably the meek. You know, that's what I would probably do. Very simple. I would flip the W to M and say mika, mika ed. Okay, because you're ma ka entity. Okay. That's why they say the meek will inherit, because the Maka entities are going to inherit. And this gives us the language, everything we need to say what we are. Okay? So we have 9 to counter the 7. Now we have 13 sound commands to counter the square spell. Okay, to counter the 13, to counter the 4 spell. Okay, that's why they have 4 horsemen. Okay, the 4 pillars, Pintar. Okay, the parasite thought that's against Ra. Okay, all right, so I'm going to go now to DeepSeek, right, because I've asked it to outline the significance of the number 13. Okay, so we're going to read here. So esoteric and mystical transformation, new beginnings. Okay, sacred number for ancient orders symbolizes death of the old and birth of the new. Okay, the occult and secret societies, hidden knowledge, ceremonial power. A characteristic number for participants in occult groups and sacred meals, prominently featured in U.S. Great Seal symbolism. 13 steps, arrows, stars, etc., sometimes linked to the New World Order concepts. Biblical Christianity, rebellion, lawless, betrayal, symbolizes rebellion against God, associated with Satan, the 13 dragon. The dragon appears 13 times in Revelation. And betrayal, Judas as the 13th guest. Historical and cultural suppression, bad luck, misfortune in the West. Okay, basis of triskaidekapaphobia, I guess, fair, of link to arrest of Knights Templar on Friday the 13th, 1307, the Last Supper. Okay, significance of 12 and 1. You have Jesus and his 12 disciples. 13 elements of central fragrance represents the conscious self, individual who is synthesizes and directs the 12 surrounding forces of aspects, which can symbolize tribes, zodiac signs. So you're seeing the number 13 used in the draconian concept, okay, to maintain control, okay, is quite prominent. All right. So what I have, and what do they want to control? Your behavior. Okay. That's what all of these things, zodiacs, all of these things are designed as devices to control your behavior. Okay. To maintain the parasite program. All right. And so what I'm trying to express is that through breath, the ba, ra that creates the or, okay, this is what we're putting you in line to be a maker. This is your calling. This is why you're going to get your name decoded so you now can operate online with the kagodora. Okay, so the first one is ma'a. Okay, so ma, the thought to create is coming to you. So now you can give breath to creating. Okay, the same thing with Ra. So Ra is to broadcast, to radiate. Okay, so now these ideas that you've had are now being broadcasted and radiated because you've received breath from this sound command. Okay, so now that thought that you've got and you've broadcasted and radiated, now you're putting it in motion. This is shu-ah. Okay, so now what's putting it in motion, the ethers, the environments, everything is now going to see your thought. Okay, because these three prior to here is you're receiving the idea, broadcasting the idea, moving the idea. Okay, now you're in thought of the I. Okay, the I-ed, ah, I should be saying, not idea, I-ed-ah. Okay, D is to detach, ah. Okay, so it continues to go on. So you have ma, ra, shu-ah, ta-ah. Now you have say-ah. This is your voice. You're putting your say. And once you have say, this activates your spirit, your ba. Okay, you're not going to be able to do anything without your spiritual permission. Okay, if you want to go pee and you want to hold it so you can do something, you're going to hold it. Okay, this is why it's important to be a ba-ka, not just a ka. Because if you have a ka, now you have a spirit. You don't have a ba. Okay, the spirit is the augments, acts in place of the ba. Okay, once your ba is activated, you're now giving breath to your ka. Once your ka is activated, now you are in go. You're in motion. Okay, so all of these things here are etheric commands. Okay, you could be in crouching tiger, you could be still, you could be moving, but these things, are not going to be visible to anybody else, okay, but you and the ether. Okay, but when you reach go, now, okay, the world is getting ready to see. Okay, because you're going, your breath is giving you go, so you have to give go and breath to whatever it is, that you're seeing. Okay, so you're going and then you're doing. Okay, so now you're doing. You're doing the ba ra eth, the ba ra or. Okay, you're doing the breath, and the breath is doing you. Okay, now after you do, you're sowing. Okay, what are you doing is whatever you're sowing. Okay, whatever you're planting, whatever your idea is, whatever your purpose, your calling, this is what you're sowing. Okay, and now you're in Ri-ah. Okay, so that is Ra and N. You're entitled to radiate. Okay, so once you're so, you're entitled. So you recognize everything in Draconians, they want it now to be permission based. Right? You're going to need permission to operate yourself and do all sorts of things. Okay, so you're seeing how this RE is a continuation of Ra. Okay, rebreath. Okay, it's like having a pause, right? And now you're reigniting. Okay, you're resparking. Okay, the breath. Okay, now you're adding to that breath. Okay, you've created something here. Whatever you're sowing is to add to the breath. Okay, source, this kagodora, is all about adding and multiplying, opposite of Gregorian Draconi, which is about taking away and dividing. Okay, after you add whatever it is, it has become fruit. You can't add something that is not realized. Okay, so whatever is realized is now on. Okay, it's now on. All right, so I hope this helps explain. Please comment, please ask questions. Okay, this battery of mine is going to die, and this basically helps explain, in contrast with how the Draconians, we've read, utilize the number 13. It is their square. Okay, when the diamond in the sky, the triangle, when you have two people put their hands together to make the triangle, when people have their hands and they're sitting and you see them have their two hands together and they make that sort of like symbol or the triangle, that's representing the square. Okay, if you take a triangle and you cut it in half diagonally, that's still a square. Okay, if you take a square and you cut it in half diagonal, you have two triangles. I'll show you right now quickly. I hope I can do this without the phone dying. Okay, so you have a square. Okay, you now cut it diagonal. Okay, so that's the two hands coming together like that. You put your two hands together. It doesn't matter how it looks. Okay, but that's a square. That symbolizes the square. That's the 13. That's the 13 tribes, the number 13. Okay, the 1 and the 3. Okay, you got that? All right, and so another very, very quick thing, the three wise men are the three primary sons, or Seons. Okay, you have Ra-Ed, okay, you have Elul, and you have Ba-El. Okay, Ra-Ed is Ra, the red Seon. Elul is the yellow Seon, and you have Ba-El, which is the blue Seon. Okay, those are the three primary Seons that are always in our skies. Okay, and they project together when they're in line, and that's what's creating those spectrums of multiple colors. Okay, and you can see them sometimes in the clusters of the skies. You'll see in the sky, you'll literally see red, blue, and yellow. Okay, you'll literally see like a cluster of red, blue, and yellow. That's the three Seons. Okay, and so this kagodora brings everything all together, my bakas. Okay, so please get prepared to buy this kagodora, available on amenra.com, the Shopify store. We'll be continuing to work on it today. Like I said, if you have any custom imagery, if you want to utilize the kagodora for your own tribe, your own fam, just come talk to me, people. Okay, I am the authority of what I am doing. Okay, I don't need to be registering my shit with the draconians or nothing. I'm the authority. I'm the spark behind everything that I'm doing. Okay, so come and utilize these things. Let's get together. Let's go. Please, if you have any more questions, please make comments and ask. Okay, it's the only way I can help you. All right, outside of what I am already doing. Okay, so utilize the Seon command codes. Have it operate yourself. If you're utilizing this with the markets, please go watch the crypto shit shower updates. It really gives you another expectation on how it's used, because we could now judge. For instance, okay, one thing I have to include here. All right, thank you, Ra, for reminding me. Okay, so with ones, twos, threes, four, five, six, seven, eights, and nines, we're gonna look at it like a volume. Okay, we're gonna look like a well, or we're gonna look at like, you know, a cock about to ejaculate. Okay, so number one is stimulation. Okay, this is recognizing that you're thirsty and you need water. Okay, so number two, the water is coming up on the well another level. So 3, 4, and 5, the water is about halfway, and you know, about, you can almost access it. Okay, so number 6, now, you know, it's getting ready to blow. Okay, so 7, 8s, and 9s in relations to the cosmos, including 1s to 7, okay, is when the Seon is going to get ready to give us energy. Okay, so rays that are falls on 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5, and 6, the electromagnetic field is going to be at its weaker, Okay, when it comes to 7, 8, and 9, this is when you're going to be able to go and see the Schumann resonance, the solar activity, meteorite activity. All of this stuff is going to be heightened when we reach 7, 8s, and 9s. Okay. So these are the days when we are receiving our solar blast, our solar energy. So how does this affect you, and how does Draconians use this against you? Well, these are the days when they come out with bad news, bad events. They do things to make you miserable, so they can extract your ether and convert it into adrenochrome and loosh. Okay, this is just facts. Okay. When we are receiving ether, when the atmosphere is being charged by plasma, metatite, all of these things that come from Ra and the three Seons, okay, they then create situations and circumstances, draconians, world events, all sorts of things, TV, like anything to extract misery out of you, make you sad, make you upset. Okay, and then ultimately, during these days, these are days when they might perhaps make you look at something that our society has produced to make you happy. Okay, so even though it's not, it's all about wearing the mask. Okay, so since the mask is off, they can only act as draconians. They cannot act as raw because I'm in place of that. Okay, or I'm that. I'm not, I'm not allowing anything to act under this false authority. I'm showing what I am here. Okay, nobody's can dispute this shit. Okay, this is the real shit. This is the real deal. Okay, and so when we realize that, they say, for instance, come out with something new. Okay, so they're gonna do that on ones to sixes. Okay, so if you're a betting person, okay, ones to sixes you're buying, sevens to nine you're selling, just like that. Okay, just like that, simple. That's how it is. All right, so that's pretty much the great aspect about the sound codes, about the gematria. It gives you a volume of ether measurement. It gives you gematria in relation to how the draconians are going to use it against the energy that you're getting. And also these sound command codes puts you in a mood, puts you in a state of thought, okay, on what you need to be doing today. Okay, so if you're marketing, you're going to market it on a say-ah. Okay, if you're going to, put your spirit into something, you're going to initiate it on a ba-ah. Okay, if you're going to go out and initiate something, you're going to do it on a ka-ah. Okay, if you're going to go out, and get motivation and things, you have go-ah. Okay, if you're actually got a project that you physically want to do, you can start that on a do-ah. You're going to get the energy. Okay, if you have something that you want to sow, okay, you want to tell a friend, you want to plant a seed, you're going to do that on so-ah. Okay, if you want something that you want to continue on, okay, to sustain the maintenance day, the time that you check, okay, you're going to do that on a re-ah. Okay, and then by then, you're getting ready to add it, okay, to life. Okay, on replaces the word life. Okay, the same thing with ma, okay, and ra and shu and ta and say. Okay, all right. So get ready, prepared to get it. Go to Google, go to Apple, download the app, go to jesus.com. You can download this PDF file for free right now. Okay, but I'm gonna have the wall version hopefully very, 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 very soon. Okay. Thanks for watching. I hope this answers a lot of questions. This is Christ Story Chaplain Tata Amun-Ra, the Sound Messiah. Thanks for your support. Don't forget, I don't consent to draconian state, nor should you. Hashtag that in your post. Thought is a spore that spawns intelligence, then of fungi.org. Your mental health is directly tied to your etheric compass. Orientate yourself to sound. Don't forget that we got the crypto shit shower update where we remind you that the blockchain is not a financial umbrella that you can hold and prevent shit from your head. Okay, don't forget that you get access by joining jesus.com, the erectionary.com. All right, that's the Ta'angodu Sound Logic decoding search engine where we counter the words of the dictionary that die your erection. And don't forget Ta'angodu, it's all about speaking motion.